and welcome as a journey with us in the world of sport this wonderful morning on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. This is Dominion Sport, where we talk all things sport on the show. From the local scene, we'll move straight to the European scene and we'll give you the very best of that. And I have expert analysts in the studio every day on the show. I am Paul Abe Toluwanimi, and I have with me this wonderful morning Samson Balogun, the expert analyst himself, the man with unbiased analysis and undiluted report, and also Fola Yegbe is back on the show, just like yesterday. Also, she'll be joining us to talk sport this wonderful morning. All this and more on the show. Firstly, let me welcome Samson. Samson, good morning to you.
Top of the morning to you, Toluwani, and of course, good morning to all viewers out there. It's really nice to be here to talk sports on Dominion Television. Most definitely, this is where we bring you unbiased analysis and undiluted report. So sit back, relax. There's a lot to unpack.
All right, there's so much to unpack on the show. But before we start to unpack, let's listen to Fola Yegbe. She's all smiles this wonderful morning. Maybe it's going to be the reason why yesterday we said we're going to discuss about the European scene. And we're going to look at the tables in the European football during the international break. But Fola, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. It's good to be here. It's good to talk sports. I mean, I enjoy myself when I talk sports, so it's good to be back.
All right, beautiful. All right, just like we do it on the show every day, we're going to look straight into the local stories making the rounds this wonderful morning from the MPFL, where Remo Stars at the MK Abiola Stadium welcome Wiki Tourist, and the game ended 2-0 in favor of the defending champions Remo Stars. After the defeat away from home, they were able to nick out all 3 points on their home frost in the second half. Goita getting the first goal for that one, and also in the 90th minute, the man playing for Remo Stars also got the goal I'm talking about. Oyowa also getting a goal right there for Remo Stars. Samson Balogun, wonderful victory, just like you predicted yesterday for Remo Stars. They were able to get all 3 points away from home to Wiki Tourist.
Well, it was a much needed victory, a morale booster for the team. And don't forget, they had 2 outstanding games, and then it's just a matter of time before they start, winning those games. And they did just start yesterday, and that takes them from where they were on the table and further up on the log. And as the defending champion, you would expect them to actually be guns blazing this season, just like Liverpool started the season in the EPL. But then, because of their commitment in Europe, it affected them. Probably they did not see it coming that way. They never knew it was going to be that, tedious, and it was going to take its toll on the team. But I feel like the coach is one person that understands what it means to be the head coach of a team. He's been around at Remo Stars for a long time. I mean, if he hadn't been performing, we'll probably be booted out of the team, just like we are seeing coaches being suspended. But there must be something about Daniel Ogumodede that makes him thick, and that he has shown so far. His resilience is continuous habit of getting better over and over again. Made them win the league last season. There's a lot for still in stock for Remo Stars. If they continue with this trajectory, they have been able to cement their place as one of the top teams in the NPFL, in the last 4 years, and that says a lot about the situation of things. And winning that game actually is a moral booster for them. They still have more commitment on the continent. They qualify for the next phase of the qualifying series, and then they will play in the group phase of the CAF Champions League. Let's see where that takes them.
I agree.
But most definitely, what they needed was a win. And they got that yesterday. Even though the first half was a little bit shaky, but in the second half they came back stronger and better, and then they got the necessary goals. And whether it is 5-0, whether it is 10-0, all that matters is the 3 points. A win is a win, and they got that yesterday.
All right, let's look at the log of the table. What is looking like right now in the MPFL after Remo Stars' victory against Wiki Tourist at the MK Abiola Stadium. Like the expert analyst said, Samson Balogun, the goals came in the 79th minute, and also Yowa getting the second goal right there in the 90th minute. That's what the table is looking like. For you, Remo Stars are now sitting 9th on the log of the table. They still have 1 more game to spare, and that will take them closer to the likes of Rivers United ahead of Shooting Stars. So how do you see this one for Remo Stars, and also as the table in the MPFL shaping up already?
Firstly, can I just say sorry to Remo Stars, because yesterday when you were asking me, I was saying, oh, maybe they'll be tired and they wouldn't, deliver. You understand? So, but when you see a champion is a champion whenever.
True.
So they showed that yes, we might be busy yes, but we can still get the results. So I'm happy for them, good for them, and hopefully with the way they are looking on the table right now, I'm hoping with the one game in hand, hopefully when they play that one, they would, you know,
at least
go
sit on the log of the table, maybe 5th or 4th at that table.
Hopefully.
All right.
Hopefully.
Let's look at shooting. Okay, quickly.
One thing they could not do yesterday is to get you know, maximum number of goals they would be needing. If they had gotten more goals, they probably would be sitting maybe 7th on the log right now, because 7th, 8th, and 9th are on the same points, 10 points. So they could have actually gotten at least 2 more goals in that game. But unfortunately, they could not, you know, muster the challenge and get more goals, and that actually did not work in their favor. But all that matters is the fact that they are able to move up on the log, and the only difference between the team on 9th on the log and that on 7th is just you know, 1 goal.
1 goal.
So which is you know, is all that matters anyway. 1 goal is enough to win the title.
True. Very
all right, let's take the stories from the camp of Shooting Stars ahead of the clash against Kano Pillars. And, you know, Samson Balogun was speaking about the brilliance of Ayodele yesterday. And, you know, we wanted to show you the clip, which you're going to see the clip of Ayodele today, while we're talking about the game against Kano Pillars. Away from home, Samson Balogun, how do you see Shooting Stars, you know, prepare ahead for this game ahead of Kano Pillars?
Well, it's going to be a deadly encounter for Shooting Stars. You know, you can walk into, you know, the Sani Abacha Stadium in Kano and say you want to walk away with 3 points, especially when playing against Kano Pillars, a perennial rival in the NPFL. It's a big challenge for Shooting Stars. You know, Kano Pillars might be struggling at this time. They are really struggling. Everyone can see they are rock bottom on the log. Yes, they have outstanding games, but then as it stands, they are 20th on the log, meaning that if the season ends today, well, unfortunately, it will not end. But if it does end today, they are relegating. I mean, that is not really good enough for Shooting Stars. But one thing I'm quite sure of is that Kano Pillars will be able to turn things around. They will definitely turn things around. But I'm just fearful of the fact that it might just be Shooting Stars that becomes their own turning point. Because we have seen how shaky Shooting Stars defense can be this season. The only time they have not made a mistake was when they played on Sunday, where they were able to keep a clean sheet, scored 1 goal, and then the game ended. But then, if you are playing against a deadly team like Kano Pillars with quality players, just that they have not been able to get it right this season, you are playing against an Ahmed Musa, a Rabiu Ali with this defense splitting passes, you know, in Esasena, you know, they might struggle a little bit, but then they can still come back with a result. It might not be all 3 points, but at least something can still come back with them from Kano. Kano is a very long distance. That is one. Jet lag might be a problem. They are not going by flight. They are definitely going to have issues.
Great.
2, technically, Shooting Stars are still struggling technically, but I'm of the opinion that the coach is already getting it when it comes to being able to maneuver in terms of you know, getting the team to play his own way, which is the away ball, as they call it at the stadium. So they are moving to closer and closer to that. We saw that on display against Plateau United. Can they repeat the same feat when playing against Kano Pillars? Don't forget, at the point in around 25 to the 45th minute in that encounter against Plateau United forced Shooting Stars to play their game, which is you know, just take the ball to the person at the front, just kick and run, kick and follow. But then the coach spoke to the player and said, look, bring the ball down. Let's play on the ground. That's our strength. And they were able to do that. And then they were in control of the game for almost all part of the game. So if they go to Kano, one of the things the coach must look at is, yes, they are traveling for a far distance. Don't be too shy to play your best legs. Start your best legs in that game. If you want all 3 points.
So I want to ask about starting your best leg now, because you look at Ismail Ayodele, he didn't start the first half, he had to come in. Would you expect the coach to still follow that same you know, pattern, you know, bringing him in the second half, or maybe to see him understand the game in the first half and also know how he can come in, you know, to now bring in his brilliance ahead of the game against Kano Pillars? How do you say Ayodele, you know, play?
If you look at Ismail Ayodele, he's is a decisive player. You know, he has an important role to play for Shooting Stars. He's one of their go-to men this season. Sadiq Ibrahim, Ismail Ayodele. You have about Ayobami Jr. Kabiru Tijani has been a revelation this season.
Yeah, fantastic.
Revelation. You know, fantastic player, box-to-box midfielder. He has been excellent. But when talking about, you know, what the selection looks like up front. In the game against Plateau United, the coach decided to drop Ayodele to the bench and played Abiodun. So Abe was up front. Yes, Abe is an attacker. He's you know, very good when it comes to, you know, defending from the front, and you know, he's more of a scorer than a provider. While Ayodele is also a scorer when the chance provides itself, but he's more of a provider when the opportunity comes. Yes. Now, if you look at what he did in his first 2 touches when he came on board, he was able to get past about 2-3 defenders, maybe 4 at a point, and then squirt the ball into the box. He wasn't looking to score a goal. Yeah, he was looking for the man at the center. But Abe would have, if Abe found himself in that situation, he would have probably, you know, shot at the goalkeeper, not necessarily getting a goal, but at least, you know, making an attempt. But Ayodele had the instinct of a provider at the time. But going forward in the season, Shooting Stars would need a man like that, who is not selfish. You can't be shooting sporadically when you are not even sure if you are going to hit the target. So, as a forward, 2 things come to mind. If you are not the out-and-out striker at the center, your job as a person on the flanks, as the people on the flanks, is to provide for the person at the center. The only time you are permitted to shoot is when there's no one to pass to and you have a clear sight at goal. Then you shoot. That's the instruction. So someone like Ayodele will be really instrumental when they play Kano Pillars. Because Sadiq Ibrahim will be under serious attack from the Kano Pillars center halves. They are tall, they are very good when it comes to sweeping, so we will be really busy. He might not really get too much of the ball, but then Ayodele, his instinct will now be, you know, questioned when he fails to shoot when he has the opportunity to do that. So going into the game against Kano Pillars, the coach has the liberty of playing his best legs. So Ayodele should start. Player like Abi, Mustafa Adam will be on the bench. We saw what he did when he came on board for Sadiq Ibrahim over the weekend. He was almost everywhere. And I was telling someone sitting beside me, I said, this is a kind of striker that will shoot from anywhere. Once he gets the ball, he's, you know, he has this shooting accuracy and power. So once he gets the ball, he wants to shoot. But Sadiq Ibrahim will look for the perfect chance to shoot at goal. So they have 2 different strikers on their hand right now, and they have the opportunity. Even Kamar is there. He's a left-footed striker. You know, also knows where the goal post is. So they have about 3 different strikers now, and the onus lies on the coach to pick the best one for that particular game, depending on the tactical approach.
All right, let's see, you know, how far Shooting Stars can go away from home right there at the Kano Pillars at the Sani Abacha Stadium. We'll be hoping that they get all 3 points. We'll be giving you more update on the show as the camp of the Shooting Stars, the PPR ahead of the game against the Kano Pillars. Let's move away from that story and let's take more from the local front this wonderful morning. And it's coming from the camp of Bendel Insurance. And at this point again, something we are back at it again. Yes, sir, Edo State Sport Commission Chairman suspend Bendel Insurance head coach Greg Ikenuba, direct coach Baldwin Bayaze to step in. The executive chairman of Edo State Sport Commission, Honorable Amdin Desmond, has approved the suspension of the head coach of Bendel Insurance Football, Greg Ikenuba. The suspension takes effect from Monday, which was yesterday on the 6th of October 2025. The Edo Sport Commission boss took the decision following the poor performance of Bendel Insurance Football Club in the current season, coupled with the 1-0 loss to Nasarawa United in the match day 7 of the Nigeria Premier Football League at the Samuel Gbomudia Stadium on Saturday. Meanwhile, the Edo State Sport Commission chairman has directed coach Baldwin Bayuza to hold forth as the head of the technical crew of the Premier Football League till further notice. Now, this is extremely funny because looking at the last paragraph, it's still holding on as the head of the technical crew of the Premier Football League till further notice. Now, something, you know, earlier before the kickoff of the MPFL season, we gave the report that Bendel Insurance has sacked 22 players from the squad. So it begs the question, and Fola, you know, you sack 22 players from the squad, you know, you bring in some new players. The coach is just trying to, you know, acclimatize with these players, trying to get to know them properly, try to build up the chemistry with them. And yeah, it's been sacked. Now, it's been suspended. Something we have started here to say suspension should not even be the word. Now we're still now getting the report that he still holds a position as the head of the technical, crew. Now let me start with Fola. For you, Fola, when we see news like this, how does this shape the MPFL as a whole, and also a club like Bendel Insurance, because this is a household name, not just a newbie, when it comes to Nigerian Football League?
First of all, I'll just first of all say impatience. Impatience is the word, because it shows that these people are not, you sacked your players. The man is just trying to, get to know his new people.
Players, yeah.
So definitely you should be patient with him to be able to technically know, okay, this player, if I play him here, he won't do well, unlike if I put this one here.
I agree.
So definitely you are not being patient with him. NPFL generally, should I say, they are not professional enough. They are not professional enough to know that, okay, this is how we are meant to do it. It's very unfair to the man.
I agree. So, quick one, Samson, should the Edo State Sport Commission be handling situations like this? That's the question first for you.
Well, I think they have a say. They have a stake in what goes on in the Bendel Insurance. Don't forget that we have always said this time without number, that, state governments do not have a business having a football team.
I agree.
Unfortunately, they do have football teams, and it's under the purview of the Commission for Youth and Sport in the state to oversee. Except for in peculiar cases, especially in Oyo State, where the governor took over the affairs of the team by himself, and then just left the commission to take care of a few skeletal issues. But then let's be factual. You see, this kind of story is really embarrassing, disheartening at the same time. It's an aberration. It should not have happened. And whoever published that story on behalf of the commission is a jester. And even the person who gave the go-ahead, the person who gave the go-ahead for that decision to be made is also a jester. Now, I have always, advocated for when you are putting people in strategic positions, you have to check their credentials and check their, qualities. What exactly are these people bringing to the table? Do they even know anything about what we are doing? And, I'm still going to read about the commissioner and see exactly who he is and what he's been doing before he was saddled with the responsibility of, handling sports in that state. Now, what I'm trying to say in essence is that, let me not bore you with my rhetorics, and let me go straight to the point. Only in the MPFL, only in Nigeria, is where you find a coach being suspended. Now, the best word to have been used at that time is, he's been sacked. I mean, you would accept that in good faith and move on, get a new job. How do you suspend a person? One, you have tied him down. He has a contract with you. He can't get a new job. He's still under suspension. You have brought one of his technical crew to take over an old fourth temporarily, who is his assistant coach. And then you ask yourself this particular question. I mean, isn't that embarrassing?
And you still give him the head of the technical crew for...
You see, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. I mean, we spoke about, there was a time we spoke about, these coaches, some of them don't even have contracts.
Yeah.
And those that have contracts, their contracts are shrouded in secrecy. You don't even know how much they earn, how many years contract they have. There are so many benefits and emoluments that comes with being a technical advisor or the head coach of a team. You don't even know this. Now, let me cite an instance. If Jose Mourinho signs a contract, he just signed a contract with Benfica. So his contract is over the internet. You can check it anywhere. You know how much he earns. You know how many years you know how many years contract. So these people, they believe so much in transparency. And the reason why our people are so hell-bent on keeping these contracts, under the wraps is because they don't value contracts.
I agree.
In Nigeria, nobody values contracts. They are always, there's always a fire brigade approach that says, whatever agreement we had with you before has been swept away. Let's talk about something new now. So what happens to the one you signed earlier? And there is no job security for these coaches. Now he's been thrown into turmoil. He's probably thinking of what exactly am I going to do now? Where am I going next? And then he's still tied down here. The best thing for him to do now is to just resign and walk away. Because it's it's really it's a dire situation for him. He's probably not in the right frame of mind to actually do his job right now, because even if he comes back, I mean, he has been humiliated. How can you even humiliate? How more can you humiliate a coach than suspending him, putting him on the sidelines, and he doesn't even have a say over the team, over selection, and then you have pushed his assistant coach to come and handle affairs? I mean, that's totally unfounded. You know, in Senna Climbs, when a coach is sacked and the assistant coach is to take over, the coach must have given the go-ahead. Oh, they want you to take charge of the team for the meantime. Oh, no problem, go ahead. I know I've been relieved of my duties. I can walk away in peace and know that you have not backstabbed me. But this is a strange thing. And strange things do happen in Nigeria. Only in Nigeria. I've always said that. Only in Nigeria, you find things, you know, things are always done the opposite direction. So now, Nigeria and due process are two parallel lines. They don't meet. You see, it's a challenge. How do we go forward from here? Is that, you know, the FA should just come back to the drawing table. Ask questions from people who actually know how things are being done properly. If you don't know, go online. There are so many things you can read on Google and say, oh, in fact, Google is a long shot. AI can bring you a breakdown of how a coach's contract should look like.
I agree, Samson. Now, hold on, because the last week we're still speaking about Warri Wolves here. Right. And, you know, they came out to say they are going to demand for those that have not submitted, you know, their contract for the coaches. So at this point in time, is it that they are not taking the instructions from the body? Because we should not be getting situations like this. If they are said, you know, the situation with Warri Wolves is becoming a problem, and let's now see, you know, how we can now get, you know, people to now submit their contract to us, and let's see, you know, what needs to be done, you know, going forward. Because at this point in time, we should not still be getting situations like this, you know, still going on in the MPFL.
You see, let me start by saying this. Yoruba people say something, and I will explain that back in English. They say, You see, majority of these are, you know, club owners. You know, they are just too big for the local league management company to handle. Because when most of them are members of the stakeholders forum, so they are in charge, and you cannot really question them. See, in Senna Climbs, people, if for anything you do, right, you have to be accountable.
I agree.
But nobody is being held accountable for anything that happens here. So the blame will rather be pushed to someone who knows absolutely nothing about what you have done.
Yeah, true.
Now, take for example, recently something happened, and then the team is saying, oh, it must be the mistake of a curator. I mean, there was someone who oversees the affairs of the curators in the team. True. So why is the curator, who doesn't even have a face or a name, being blamed for something that someone who has a face and a name should be blamed for? Now, let's push that aside. Let's talk about the basics and generation of, you know, the history of how these things actually happen. I can tell you for a fact that the LMC has said that they have not submitted contracts of some coaches. True. That's because they don't want to honor this contract. Because the LMC will hold you accountable for a contract that has been signed. That coach can actually walk over to the LMC and say, look, I've been sacked. And the emolument that is due to me has not been paid.
I agree.
Then they will be held accountable. In fact, if there is a fund that belongs to your team with the LMC, it will be stressed, it will be deducted, and then the coach gets his bill, you get your balance. That's how it is being done in the Senna Climbs. Now, if you look at the situation now, I can tell you for a fact that the few teams that the LMC has said are submitted, you know, this contract, I can tell you for a fact, Remo Stars will be a part of those teams. Yeah. Eyimba will be a part of those teams because they have standards. For example, Sporting Lagos, yes, I can say maybe a guess, but then they are close to a team that will have submitted.
Shooting Stars.
The current Shooting Stars with the structure they have would have submitted. Now, the reason I said all that is one of the only few teams in the FPL, maybe 2 or 3 of them, that came out to say, oh, we have signed so-so player, and we have given him 3 years contract. Is Shooting Stars.
I agree.
And if you have made that announcement, what's left for you than to submit the documents to the LMC? So that's the framework for me. Now, the reason why all of them will run away from this is because they have always cheated players. We have seen players who played for 11 months in some teams and did not get paid. And they are NPFL teams.
I agree.
Until the NPFL came out and the LMC at the point said, look, players, you know, there should be a salary cap in the MPFL. You cannot pay lower than so amount of money to players because this is not slave trade. This is football, and football is business. So you cannot pay lower than so amount. That is why and when wages were raised in the NPFL, and even some teams struggled to pay at the time. Now, we are moving gradually towards the phase where at least some teams are paying the minimum requirements. But then, do you know that as it stands, some people still sit at the corner and say, look, we have given you a contract, you are earning 300,000 naira. So amount of money comes to me. Some players still pay riba to some people who gave them the opportunity to play in the team. They still do it. Unless they will come out and say, oh, it's not happening. We will sit down and relax. Yes, it's not happening. But when we have evidence, we will show you workings. It's not about church. We will show you workings. We have always been doing that. And we'll do that too. So it happened in Ibadan in the past. Where some players will go and pay to beer parlor. That my guy is coming to drink beer. Out of his own, after running around on the field for 90 minutes for 1 month, someone still sits down and use someone else's wages to drink beer.
I agree.
But that aside, you see, the challenge is a kind of war that we cannot afford to open all of that.
I agree.
But the truth of the matter is, how do we move forward from here? That's the solution.
That's the question now.
The question is, there should be a punishment for anything that fails to submit contracts of either the players or the technical crew. Now,
the LMC gave us the punishment, saying they're going to suspend. Actually, for Warri Wolves, they said they're going to suspend, all the technical crew. They're not going to be, on the sidelines for the team, for some matches if they fail to submit, and also they're going to be fined. But now it's not looking like that is being implemented, because if that is the case, we are still yet to get the confirmation if Warri Wolves have not been able to submit that contract, and if other teams also have been able to submit contract, because Samson, you just mentioned just 3 teams, that shows that these people are committed to things like this. You mentioned Remo Stars, you mentioned Eyimba, and you mentioned the current Shooting Stars. So at this point in time, it's definitely assured that some teams have not submitted their contract of the technical trial and also the players at this point in time. So that's why we have not heard some things, and it's still going to happen, because we were still here just last week saying that is to say that we're still going to get such a report like this, and we are getting it today.
It will be difficult to achieve. Most of these teams, they are feeding fat on the ignorance of some coaches. Do you know that some coaches do not have licenses and they are practicing? Now, they are practicing, and then the team will be like, does he have a contract? Does he have a license? Then we can do him whichever we would like. Why not? See, you are earning a lot of money. Why not just find some money and get yourself some certification? Now, the reason I said that was when there was an issue, when Asante Kotoko came to defeat Kwara United at home. Did you listen to the post-match press conference by the Asante Kotoko coach? He said that one that does not have a license is talking. He was talking about Coach Tunde Sani, who was just relieved of his duty at Kwara United. Wow. He said it, but nobody disputed it. Even Coach Tunde Sani did not say anything about it. So that means that he does not have a license. Come on. You get the idea. So if it's simple. There's always something to hold on to. For example, I know that I want to take something from you, and I know that you have nothing on me, right? So it means that whatever it is I want to take from you, I must pay something equivalent back. But when I know that you have something on me, then I melt somehow. And then I give you whatever you want, and then whatever it is you want to give back, I don't negotiate, I take back.
Manage it.
That's the idea.
We just hope for the very best, for Nigerian football right here, because we want the growth and we want the very best for them to see the players grow, and also all management team, put in place properly for Nigerian football. Let's move away from that. Let's talk from the camp of the Flying Eagles. As they arrive Santiago for the knockout tie with Argentina. Yes, the Nigerian Flying Eagles have arrived to Santiago right there in Chile, venue of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup, a round of 16 clash with Argentina on Wednesday. The Flying Eagles arrival was confirmed by the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, in a post on their X handle right there earlier in the early hours of today. Coach Aliou Zubeiru's side led a finished third in the Group F after they held Colombia to a 1-1 draw in the final preparatory stage encounter on Monday. A late penalty converted by Captain Dana Bameyi helped Nigeria rescue a point and also finish behind one of the best third-placed team. After losing 1-0 to Norway in the opening group game match, Nigeria still bounced back from the hard-fought battle against Saudi Arabia 3-2. Meanwhile, The Flying Eagles will train at the Estadio Nacional Junior Martinez Paradonos on Tuesday as they prepare for their all-important game against Argentina. The last time Nigeria faced Argentina on the 20 World Cup was in 2023 when the South American football team Giant hosted the tournament. It was also in the round of 16 stage, which saw the Flying Eagles triumph 2-0. So, you know, we had the victory against that one, but already preparations are very much ongoing already. We already, you know, arrived at that venue for the clash against Argentina. Quickly, you know, how do you see this game for the Flying Eagles, Fola? You know, looking at the round of 16, the last time we faced them, we were able, you know, to come and victorious 2-0. Can we do it looking at the struggle we had, you know, from the group stage game, having 1 loss, 1 draw, and 1 win, and you look at Argentina, fantastic victory all through this, all through. Do you see us, you know, defeat the Argentines on Wednesday? Quickly.
No, I don't. Well, with the way we performed in the group stage, I wouldn't say we will win, because Argentina have shown that they are here for business, and Nigeria, we in the group stage, you know, we were epileptic in let's put it like we were epileptic, let me put it that way, because we performed in some matches, and then at the end of the day we were able to struggle to get to the next stage. So, but with Argentina, they are here for business, and they've proved it that they are here for business. So do I see Nigeria well, I will go and pray and fast for them.
Samson Balogun, you look at this tough group for you know, Argentina in the group phase. They had Italy, they have Australia, and they have Cuba also as all wins. And look at the goals. They just considered just 3 goals. You know, they just considered 2 goals. I'm sorry, yes, just 2 goals. For you, do you see the Flying Eagles of Nigeria, you know, come out victorious on Wednesday by 8:30 against Argentina?
You see, I've always said this, that you know, when you play in a competition like this, how you placed in your group really does not matter.
I agree.
It's about you know, what you bring to the table after you have left the group. Fortunately for them, you know, they were able to grind out a qualification, whether by, you know, by luck or by
hook.
So they got out of the group. But the truth is, you know, that Argentina won all 3 games still doesn't mean they have a straight walk over the super, you know, the team, of course, the Nigerian under-20 team. So let's, you know, let's be a little bit patient with this team.
Okay.
You see, sometimes teams start slow in a competition, and then as the competition wears on, you know, they become more better than you know, how they started. For Nigeria, I think it's the challenge they have had is there's this communication gap in defense, and we've talked about height in defense. Bameyi is a fantastic player, but he's short. Playing him as a centre back is a challenge for the team. And then, if you saw some of the goals they considered in the tournament so far, especially against Saudi Arabia and even against Norway, you will realize the fact that there was miscommunication in that back line, which is a challenge. Now, yes, there was a defender who was meant to be a part of the team. Unfortunately, he got injured, was sent back home, a replacement was sent, but the replacement cannot walk straight into the team because he wasn't part of the training setup. He was just there as a backup. Now, let's now look at what Argentina and Nigeria brings to the, you know, it's a long-time rivalry between these two teams. Nigeria, Argentina, they don't meet eye to eye.
In all sports when it comes to football.
Nigeria and Argentina, we are not friends.
Whether it is under 17, under 20, under 23, the larger national team at large, you know, they have always, you know, had issues. So it's going to be it's still a competition between these two, a tough test for Nigeria, especially that, you know, their real credentials in this competition is about to put to test, playing against the host, and of course playing on their home turf. That's a challenge. But the fact that they have a history of playing against Argentina, and of course
in this same state,
in this same stage, and they defeated them. That really does not count, but gives them a morale booster. Yes, we have done it before. We can do it again. But that's another challenge for them because that might lead to complacency. They might be complacent and say, "Oh, look, we have done it before now," and then they relax and then they get whitewashed.
Let's not forget that they are playing at home.
So it's a total different ball game right now. But for me, I don't have confidence in the Nigerian under-20 team. I want to be. I'm patriotic. I want them to win, but I don't have any confidence whatsoever in the team. I've seen how they play, and I see that they have not been consistent. They have not been able to bury. Yes, they have created a few chances, but they have not been able to bury. Because if they bury their chances, they should not be in this stage playing against Argentina.
True.
They should probably have qualified as the second or fourth place
and play a weaker team.
Yes, and play a weaker team. Unfortunately, 3 of their shots on target that should have been on target hit the woodwork, the crossbar, in the last game. I mean, that should have been 4-1 conveniently, but they could not muster that the maximum 3 points in that game. So, going into this, I think the coach will set up to soak up pressure for the first 10 minutes of the game.
Right.
And then see how they can break out on the break, because Argentina will hold possession. Most definitely. They are at home. They have the confidence. They won all 3 games in the group phase. They can play anyone right now. They are really bullish. They can bully any team in the competition.
Yeah.
And that's how they are going to start up against the Nigerians. They know they are weak. They are frail in defense. They are short in defense. area balls will come in. Area balls will come in.
Definitely.
They are definitely going to prey on that. That's certain.
Right.
So when you play against a team like that, for the first 10 minutes, just soak up pressure. See how they want to play. Then see their weak link and then capitalize on that. Until that is done. If you rush and play against Argentina like you want to score the first 10 minutes, unfortunately, the first 10 minutes might be when you concede 3 goals. If care is not taken. So that's my own take.
All right. Let's see how that one is going to play out for the Flying Eagles of Nigeria ahead of this one against Argentina. It's going to be a massive one on Wednesday, 8:30 this time tomorrow. We're still going to talk about that and also get ready for your predictions for tomorrow's game. It's still much ongoing at the under-20 right there in Chile. Now let's move away from that. Remember, the international break is upon us. Let's look at what the table is saying in the European scene right there. There you have it, the Premier League, Samson. Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs, Bournemouth, Manchester City, Crystal Palace finally getting defeated after 19 games unbeaten by the in-form Everton side. Jack Grealish finally getting a goal. Also, Arsenal are topping the table. Our focus in the Premier League today shortly is going to be Liverpool and Chelsea. Now, I'm just going to ask Samson quickly, what is the current situation with Liverpool? What is Ancelotti not doing right now? For me, I'm just going to say maybe there's a problem that they could not replace a certain Luis Diaz, which they did not know was the pivotal attack system for them last season. That's what I'm going to say, but I'm sure you are the expert analyst and also for that, you have your own say. But for you, I'm going to ask you, what's the current situation with Liverpool going into this season as we look at it right now?
Well, the challenge now for Liverpool is that they have been found out. People now know exactly how they play, where their secret is, and so teams are setting up to counter what they do.
I agree.
Now, if you check this season so far, they have struggled, but unfortunately because they have been winning points, they had a very good start to the season in terms of points gathered, not how they played.
Yeah, true.
People thought, oh, it was all well and good with the team. Now, if you look at how they got in their first 5 games of the season, let's say their first 4-5 games of the season, they have left it late. They most times scored their winning goal 85th, 90th, 90-something minutes.
In fact, I was even hearing the commentator say against Chelsea saying maybe they might get it again in the 85th minute.
Because that was how they were. They were always, digging deeper at the last minute to at least let's just win this. Let's get over the cross, the crossing line. But of course, unfortunately, the challenge is they lost 2 important players. Yes, they lost Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich. They did not know what they had in Luis Diaz until they lost him. Before he left Liverpool, I think it was on 30,000 or around 30 to 40,000 euros on wages. Now, that was exactly the same. Liverpool are fond of doing that. That was exactly the same thing they did to Javier Mascherano when he was their player. Until Mascherano left Liverpool, I think he was on Partey